Kingdom Hearts 3 is one of the most highly anticipated games of all time. Because of this, people are extremely eager to get their hands on it, even if that's before the release date. Kingdom Hearts 3's leaks have been the talk of the town for almost a month, causing many people a great deal of concern, with many of the core plot points leaking through Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and yes, even here on YouTube. For a while, the only person with a confirmed leak copy was a Twitter user named KH3IsLife, who was only leaking gameplay-related videos. This wasn't nearly that bad, as most of it was just answering gameplay questions, such as things regarding floatiness, the presence of critical mode, and other gameplay-related things that Square Enix wouldn't answer directly. It wasn't until more copies got into the hands of more people, and they weren't necessarily as considerate as KH3IsLife, as they began to upload many of the game's cutscenes, including the game's ending. This has caused the game's director Tetsuya Nomura quite a great deal of grief, and he's now reconsidering the idea of simultaneous worldwide releases for all of his future projects. Naturally, this would include Final Fantasy VII Remake, and he expresses these feelings in a recent Famitsu interview. Famitsu started by asking, quote, "Now that we're approaching its release, tell us about your current state of mind." To which Tetsuya Nomura began to vent about how he felt about the issue, saying, quote, "I thought I'd feel relieved, but I haven't been able to get any rest at all. We also had some trouble with the illegal ROM acquisition overseas." Nomura then continued by saying, quote, "As for the whole story of the incident, it is no longer an issue for us, but I can't share too many details. I believe there was misinformation that made it seem as though it leaked in massive quantities from multiple sources, but in fact only 4 copies made it out there. And we confirmed, though the leak came from a single source, it seemed like multiple copies due to how they were scattered." That being said, the only thing that really disappointed me about everything is that it brought sad thoughts to the people who were looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3. That's all fine and well, but it's the next part of this statement that has me and many other people extremely worried about Tetsuya Nomura's plans for Final Fantasy VII Remake. He goes on to say, quote, "The risk is higher with the simultaneous worldwide releases, and because of this incident, I can't help but reconsider what I'll do for my next games, including simultaneous worldwide releases of physical copies at the very least. Potentially, this could be very troubling. Of course, as for his next game, the only thing that he's currently directing right now, at least to public knowledge, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. For Tetsuya Nomura to seriously consider going back to prioritizing Japanese release first before the global release just to avoid spoilers for the Japanese audience, it's kind of extremely insensitive of him. If the Japanese version of a game releases a few months before, the entirety of the game becomes available on the internet, and those spoilers surface for the rest of the world. Essentially, this would mean making the rest of the world wait longer and be spoiled through entire playthroughs, which by that point you couldn't even remove them from YouTube. Alternatively, this could also mean something like what he's doing with Kingdom Hearts 3, patching in the epilogue and secret movie after the release. But looking at alternative translations from other people, it looks like he meant no more simultaneous worldwide releases. This doesn't necessarily mean that he will, but it's pretty scary for anyone who lives outside of Japan. Now, let's be fair to Nomura. First of all, this has happened twice now. Final Fantasy XV's ending leaked in text form 6 months before the game's release. Kingdom Hearts 3 leaked several weeks ahead of the game's actual release, allowing several spoilers to surface online. But if Nomura was to go back and make Western audiences wait months ahead of the Japanese release, it would only keep Japanese audiences spoil-free and alienate the rest of the world. Instead of having spoilers persist for a few weeks to a few days, they could potentially persist for months. In the case of Final Fantasy VII Remake, spoilers won't necessarily apply in the traditional sense, as the game's story is already known. That said, for many people, the remake is going to be filled with surprises, with a wide audience of people wanting to know how Square will reinterpret many of the scenes in the game. But even so, a leaked copy really wouldn't affect sales or fans anticipating it. With that said, Nomura's concern with Kingdom Hearts fans is real, and if anyone's seen the spoilers involuntarily, that is really unfortunate. But this idea of postponing games only so the Japanese fans can benefit from it, it's absolutely ridiculous. And my hope is that either this was somewhat of a translation error or Nomura really is just tired. And perhaps he's not thinking clearly about the implications of what he's saying there. This would end up being a huge step back not only for Square Enix, but JRPG fans as a whole. And while leaked copies are still a huge issue, punishing the rest of the world for 4 leaked copies from one source, that is the absolute definition of ridiculous. But as much as I love Nomura, he's also the same guy that wouldn't call Advent Children a movie. He called it non-interactive software. So anything he says is kind of, yeah. So Ultima Weapons, what do you think about these statements? Do you think Nomura is foaming at the mouth a bit here, or do you think what he's saying makes sense to you? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you really love Kingdom Hearts, I mean really love Kingdom Hearts, be sure to head on over to our Facebook group, Ultima, Square Enix plus JRPGs. Hey, if X is pronounced Key, doesn't that make his name Keanort? Whatever, a link in the description below.